Something major is unfolding. Travelers around the world are turning their backs on the United States, and entire states are starting to feel the fallout. From deserted beaches in Florida to quiet casino floors in Nevada, the international boycott is no longer a rumor. It's happening, and it's accelerating. So, which state is next to vanish from the tourist map? Number 10. Florida. Florida, known as the Sunshine State, is beginning to resemble more of a no-show state. When even Canadians are saying, maybe not this year, you know something's wrong. Back in 2023, over 3.3 million Canadians made their way to Florida, pouring billions of US dollars into the state's tourism sector, from sandy beaches and cruise lines to Disney souvenirs. Fast forward to now, and bookings have dropped by over 70% in just a few months. So what changed? Politics, pricing, and perception. Controversial new laws, hardline immigration tactics, and exploding hotel costs have flipped the narrative. Tourists are saying, forget the palm trees. Let's go where we're actually welcomed. Local businesses are scrambling. Theme parks are rolling out unprecedented discounts, resorts are waiving fees, and even restaurant staff are putting on friendly faces again. Hotel managers are left asking the one question that haunts the industry: where did everyone go? Florida isn't just losing visitors, it's losing credibility. And if this spiral continues, palm trees alone won't be enough to bring it back. Number 9. California. From red carpets to real estate, California was once the land of Hollywood glitz and coastal dreams. But in 2025, the fantasy is fading fast. The Golden State is now facing a not-so-golden departure. International tourists, particularly from Europe and Canada, are saying, "We'll pass." Here's the stunner. LAX has recorded a 28% drop in international arrivals this year alone. Why? Outrageous prices, political unrest, and growing concerns over safety. Instead of strolling the Walk of Fame, tourists are sidestepping homeless encampments, vandalized monuments, and traffic that makes New York feel efficient. Imagine paying $22 for a smoothie on Venice Beach. It's not satire, it's happening. And when travelers find they can book trips to Portugal or Croatia at half the cost with double the peace of mind, California starts to feel more like a box office flop than a blockbuster. Is Hollywood ready for its most disappointing role yet? Keep watching, the next shock might be even bigger. Number 8. Nevada. Bright lights, wild parties, and mega jackpots. Sounds like the ultimate getaway, right? Not anymore. In 2025, Nevada's shine is dimming fast. This once iconic American playground is facing a brutal reality check. International travelers, especially from Britain and Canada, are skipping out on Nevada faster than a bad bet. Vegas used to rank among the top 3 destinations for foreign tourists. Today? Convention schedules are emptying, casino traffic is thinning, and hotels are slashing prices behind the scenes just to stay afloat. What's fueling the decline? Escalating costs, tense global politics, and a boycott that's gone from whispers to headlines. Nevada's gamble on steady tourism is now looking like a losing hand. Want a quick laugh? What's the difference between Vegas and your ex? Both promised a wild time, then drained your wallet. Number 7. New York. Think it's impossible to cancel the Big Apple? Think again. From the skyline to Broadway, Times Square to the Statue of Liberty, New York has long been a tourist mecca. But here we are in 2025, and visitors are opting out. No thanks, they're saying to a city that once topped every bucket list. Why the change of heart? Travelers are now asking, is it really worth the madness? Let's talk figures. In 2023, New York hosted more than 66 million tourists. But by early 2025, international arrivals have plunged by nearly 25%. That's billions in lost tourism revenue. Hotel occupancy is down, Broadway is scrambling to fill seats with last-minute discounts, and upscale restaurants are practically begging influencers for free publicity. The problem? The New York they saw in glossy travel ads doesn't match reality. Complaints range from relentless noise, safety fears, overcrowded transport, and rude locals, to insane prices. Imagine paying $7 for a bottle of water in Central Park. Tourists laugh, then leave. Even loyal Canadian visitors are skipping out. The fallout is massive. Stores along Fifth Avenue report falling sales, tour guides are booking fewer jobs, and the city that never sleeps is now sleepless with anxiety. Quick joke. What moves faster, New York traffic or tourists fleeing once they see hotel prices? Spoiler. It's not the cabs. And it's not just international tourists, domestic travelers are saying, why not try Nashville, Charleston, or Mexico City instead? Same charm, better hospitality, and way less expensive. Is New York about to lose its crown? Maybe not yet, but the warning signs are flashing red. Number 6. Texas. What happens when the land of cowboy dreams and southern swagger suddenly gets iced out by global travelers? Welcome to Texas, 2025. A state facing one of the year's most dramatic tourism downfalls. And the pain is financial. Once one of the South's top tourist draws, Texas had it all. Barbecue festivals, rodeos, booming cities, and a warm, y'all come back now, spirit. But that charm is fading fast. The international energy has turned from, let's go, to, let's stay away. In 2023, visitors from Canada, Europe, and Mexico spent over $400 million in the state. Now, that number is cratering. Canadian travel is down nearly 70%, and European agencies are steering clients toward less controversial destinations. The cause? Political controversies, harsh immigration policies, and polarizing state laws that make global tourists feel unwelcome. But it's not just vacationers backing out. Conferences, expos, and major sports events are canceling, taking millions in expected revenue with them. Here's a kicker. What's vanishing faster than tourists? Parking spaces at a Friday night football game. Though lately, even the bleachers are half empty. State leaders may dismiss it as media noise, but local businesses feel the impact. Dallas hotels are practically giving away rooms. Austin's famous live music venues are desperate for international talent. And Houston's shopping centers? Dead quiet. When the tourists disappear, the silence is deafening. So, is everything really bigger in Texas, or just the backlash? Before we move on to the next state getting hit by this global boycott, take a moment, like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into global travel trends, and share it with someone still clinging to the idea that these changes are temporary. Because what's coming next could be even more unexpected. Number 5. Michigan. What happens when a state known for its lakes, lighthouses, and iconic auto industry suddenly finds itself abandoned by its closest international allies? You get a tourism nosedive that's even making flannel-wearing small-town mayors sweat bullets. In 2025, Michigan, once a beloved weekend escape for Canadians, is watching its border towns fade into silence. Just a couple years ago, border crossings from Windsor to Sault Ste. Marie were jam-packed. Canadians visited for hockey, outlet shopping, and old-school Midwestern hospitality. But now, border traffic has dropped over 30%, and hotel occupancy and tourist hubs like Traverse City have taken a hit. So, what happened? A growing sense of, we're not welcome here, is sweeping across Canadian and European travelers. Political rhetoric, strict border policies, and rising anti-immigrant sentiment have caused once eager visitors to reconsider their summer plans. Add to that the soaring prices for lodging, car rentals, and even basic meals, and travelers are asking, why cross the border when we can just relax on our side with poutine and politeness? And it's not just tourism. This state heavily depends on cross-border commerce. Outlet malls, hockey games, art fairs. When Canadians stop showing up, the ripple effect is enormous. In 2023, Canadian tourists spent an estimated $1.4 billion in this region. By 2025, local economists are predicting a shortfall nearing $600 million. That's not a dip, it's a nosedive. Quick joke. What's the difference between a Michigan summer town and a haunted house? One used to be full of life, the other still gets visitors. Small towns are launching emergency marketing campaigns. Seasonal workers are losing hours. Ferry tours and kayak rentals are pushing buy one get three free deals. So, the question remains, are we looking at a bad season, or is this a long-term freeze from global travelers? Number 4. Maine. Crisp air, peaceful lighthouses, lobster rolls so fresh they practically crawl onto your plate. For decades, this serene northeast gem was a Canadian summer favorite. But in 2025, the tide has turned, and it's retreating fast. Just 2 years ago, Old Orchard Beach echoed with French conversation. Quebec plates lined the roads. Canadians packed beachfront hotels, and souvenir shops cashed in big. Now, hotel cancellations have surged, and many coastal towns sit eerily quiet. Even some iconic boardwalk shops have cut hours or shut down altogether. So what changed? It's not the views. It's not the food. It's the feeling. A growing number of Canadians now feel unwelcome. Immigration tensions, harsh political rhetoric, and aggressive border interactions have left a bitter taste. One Canadian travel blogger recently wrote, "I love the coast, but I won't go where I don't feel respected." Let's look at the numbers. In 2023, nearly 2 million Canadians visited, spending over $400 million. By mid-2025, visits are down over 60%, with potential revenue losses reaching $250 million. That's more than a dip, it's a deep freeze. Even the lobster industry is suffering. Fewer tourists mean fewer customers at seafood shacks, fewer boat tours, and less income in coastal communities that depend on seasonal visitors. Quick joke. What do you call a lobster roll without tourists? Just sad bread and seafood with abandonment issues. And it's not only Canadians. European travelers who once included this charming state in their New England road trips are now skipping it altogether, opting for Iceland or Scotland instead. Why? Friendlier welcomes, smoother travel, and none of the political tension. So the real question is, can charm and coastline outmatch comfort and culture, or is this state being left behind for good? Before we reveal the next state on the chopping block, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, because these tourism trends are shifting faster than the tides. Number 3. Arizona. Red rocks, desert skies, epic sunsets, and now, empty hotel rooms. One of America's most stunning landscapes is suddenly one of the most skipped. Why? Because in 2025, the global travel boycott has reached the Southwest, and the fallout is heating up quickly. This state was once a major draw. Europeans swarmed its national parks. Canadians basked in its winter warmth. Travel influencers flooded social media with canyon selfies. But this year, international tourism is down nearly 40%, and some tour companies have pulled out completely. What's driving them away? Foreign travelers cite increasingly hostile political policies, immigration crackdowns, and strict border enforcement that make them feel more like suspects than sightseers. Add rising flight costs, hotel rates, and park entry fees, and that desert dream trip suddenly seems less dreamy. Here's a stat that stings. In 2023, international tourists pumped nearly $1.1 billion into Arizona's economy. In 2025, experts predict a $400 million loss. That's not a dent, it's a crater. Even bustling towns like Sedona and Flagstaff now feel deserted. Hiking trails are quiet. Gift shops are slashing prices. Local tour guides are struggling to fill their calendars. Quick joke. What's hotter than the Arizona sun in July? Local officials scrambling to explain to business owners where all the tourists went. And the Grand Canyon? Still grand. But the international crowd that once made up nearly half of all visitors is vanishing. Ranger-led tours are being canceled. Shuttle services cut back. High-end resorts that once catered to wealthy tourists are now pushing Groupon deals. Yes, Groupon. So the question is, can natural beauty survive when international goodwill disappears? Or has Arizona gone from world wonder to worldwide warning? Number 2. Georgia. Southern charm, sweet tea, and the heartbeat of hip-hop. This state once attracted tourists faster than barbecue sauce on a summer grill. But now, in 2025, those visitor numbers are falling fast, and not down a scenic cliff. Once a favorite of culture enthusiasts, film fans, and foodies, Georgia is becoming a global cautionary tale. Atlanta, the South's crown jewel, used to welcome millions of international visitors, drawn by music, movie locations, and nightlife. This year, international arrivals are down 35%, and tourism boards are scrambling. What's the cause? A toxic mix of political turmoil, voting laws that sparked global outrage, and public safety concerns that made international headlines. When major European travel platforms start labeling your destination as "caution advised," it's not just bad PR, it's a bright red warning sign. And the financial hit? Brutal. In 2023, international visitors spent over $1.6 billion here. In 2025, that's expected to shrink by almost $500 million. From Savannah's boutique hotels to Atlanta's gourmet restaurants, businesses are feeling the heat. Quick joke. What's slower than Atlanta traffic during rush hour? The return of tourists who've already found friendlier, cheaper alternatives. Even Georgia's thriving film industry is feeling it. Fans once flew in to visit Marvel filming sites. Now they're going to studios in the UK or Canada. And the worst part? The communities hit hardest are those most reliant on tourism, especially Black-owned businesses and historic neighborhoods. Southern hospitality only works if people show up to experience it. So here's the question. Can Georgia rewrite its story and regain global trust? Or is it too late? Number 1. Washington. Foggy mornings, tech titans, and coffee strong enough to raise the dead. This Pacific Northwest darling was once a global tourism hotspot. But in 2025, it's no longer being booked, it's being boycotted. And the silence echoing through its airports, hotels, and iconic markets? Deafening. Tourists once flooded Seattle for selfies at the Space Needle, salmon at Pike Place, and hikes through the Green Hills just outside the city. But now, international arrivals are down more than 40%, and the buzz? Gone. Colder than a January drizzle. What triggered it? Political clashes, immigration disputes, and a few viral stories of foreign tourists being mistreated. The result? Washington now carries travel caution labels on multiple European booking platforms. And here's the blow. In 2023, global visitors brought in nearly $1.3 billion. In 2025, tourism losses could hit $600 million. That's not a dip, it's a landslide. Even the cruise industry is struggling. Once a prime gateway for Alaskan cruises, Washington is seeing cancellations up 30%, with itineraries rerouted to Canadian ports. Quick joke. What's the difference between Seattle's rain and its tourists? The rain still shows up. The tech boom hasn't helped either. Sky-high prices for hotels, Ubers, and meals are turning away budget-conscious travelers. International tourists are skipping Washington altogether in favor of Norway, Austria, or Chile, destinations that are cheaper, safer, and drama-free. Even the coffee culture is taking a hit. Tourists who once made pilgrimages to the original Starbucks now prefer indie cafes in Copenhagen or Melbourne. So the final question is, can a city built on innovation innovate its way out of a tourism slump? Or is it stuck in its own storm cloud? Before we wrap up this eye-opening list, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone still packing for the Pacific Northwest. They might want to think twice.